Oh man, somebody is like they're laughing and they're mad at us at the same time. So the people that they're laughing at and they're mad at, sitting across from me is Bishop Dwayne David Rice,
And sitting across from me is the Reverend Dr. Mark Kelly Tyler.
and holding it all down is Kawesa. Hey Kawesa, happy post Thanksgiving. How did the greens turn out?
They were delicious. They really were.
I
Did you
saw,
leave in?
yeah, I saw the picture. The picture looked good.
Oh, you saw the picture. Oh man, I missed that. I gotta like go.
Well, I saw the plate. Was that a picture of the plate you posted online?
It was the pot with all the greens in it.
Yes, yes, there you
That's what
go.
I posted.
Wait, whoa, how did I miss that? Was it on Facebook?
Yes.
Yes. And I put it on
Well,
Instagram. You know what? I should check and see if we're friends on Facebook.
well, if
Hunting.
even if we are friends, I would not have seen your greens because the only thing on my Facebook timeline was night night, Nate.
Man, you need to leave the guy alone. You really you did a job on him.
The only thing that anybody would have talked about on my Facebook page, I mean, seriously. So I know the big fight was supposed to be Mike Tyson and Roy Jones, Roy Jones Jr.
Hmm.
But man, that undercard. So I didn't pay the $50, and I'm mad because I wasn't going to pay $50 to see two has-been fighters and a bunch of up and comings who are not really up and comings. It was almost like a reality fight, like staged for a benefit. Now, if they had actually made this as a benefit, I would have gladly forked the money over. But when I realized that this was actually really much more of a comedy and it almost looked like something Kevin Hart produced or something, I would have paid $50 because I mean, that's like buying two tickets to take me and Leslie out to a show, and
Go.
shows are hard to come by during COVID. I would have paid 50 to have seen live what many of you saw. Fortunately, I've seen it since. But bro, man, let me tell you, Nate Robinson, former star in the NBA, real tough guy with the Knicks. Oh man, that he ran into a YouTuber who took him down 3 times, and the third time was the charm. After getting hit the third time, he did not get up off the mat and was out for about 2 minutes. And the memes are just, oh my God.
Vicious. They're vicious.
Yeah.
There was actually a Nate Robinson challenge that went out yesterday. Did you see this?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That was,
People
so,
were like, they were laid out on the ground, like taking pictures and posted online.
yeah,
It- man,
yeah. What was your favorite? I mean, so there are a ton of different kind of Nate Robinson memes. And look, trust me, folks, I know we've got a lot of like really important issues to talk about, but believe me when I tell you, for a lot of people, this is the only thing to talk about after this weekend. And don't worry about Donald Trump, COVID-19, the economy, because for some people, the only place they want to stay is night, night, Nate. I mean, what was your most memorable moment?
well, I did not see the fight. I just started seeing the memes. First, I saw yours, and then as I was scrolling through my feed, both on Twitter and on Instagram and on Facebook, there was nothing but people that were laid out on the floor. And I'm like, what on earth happened? And then I found out that Nate Robinson got knocked out and was out for like 2 minutes. So, I mean, there were all kinds of folk that were just laid out on the ground, pretty hysterical. There was actually a picture of one old man that was out on the ground that I thought was pretty funny. I was like, well, I can't even believe he got down there and did that. So I was like, that wasn't good.
I mean, the one I think the one that has me the most is him and the picture that split screen with Michael Jordan after Jordan won the championship and was laid out on the ground, looked like he was knocked out,
Mhm.
hugging the basketball. And I'm like, who found that? I mean, Nate Robinson ought to be happy that we're not going to see each other in person for a long time because folk will never, ever forget it. I mean, people
Look,
are.
he tried. He tried.
Yeah, I mean, look, even Mark Lamont Hill is out here tweeting about it. Nap time. Oh,
Oh wow,
actually, yes.
wow. That's deep, man. That's deep. I don't even know how I feel about that.
Wow, bro. This is like really, really bad. I mean, like really, really bad. So now, speaking of Nate, obviously they drew the comparisons to the movie Friday and Smokey's famous quote when Debo was knocked out.
Hmm.
So speaking of Friday, remember Faison Love?
Yes, I remember Face on Love.
Was that Faison that played Big Worm?
I don't know.
Quasar?
I remember Faison from the other one with Andre 3000, not Andre, Big Boy. Uh, Who's Your Caddy? That was the one I remember him from.
Yeah, I'm having some real slow problems there. I'm almost certain that was Faison Love,
Hmm.
who played Big Worm.
Hmm.
And but even if it's not, so Faison Love is in the news, and I don't know if you know this. He was in a movie called Couple. Yeah, that was Faison. Yeah, and so
Couples, yeah. Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, I just want to make sure. So he was in Couples Retreat, and Faison Love. Trust me, folks, this is actually part of what we always talk about on the show. Faison is suing Universal Studios because when he did the movie Couples Retreat with Vince Vaughn and I can't remember my guy who plays in Ozark and another guy. So it's a real funny movie. You know, four guys, take their women on a couples retreat. Faison takes the person he's with while he's going through a divorce and ends up with his wife. But anyway, they're on this exotic island.
Right.
The poster for the original that was in the U.S. shows all four couples.
Hmm.
Granted, Faison is all the way in the back, as far back as you can go.
Right.
The international poster wiped Faison and his person out, and it only showed the three white guys and their women.
Mm.
Faison took the issue, took it. At first, he was like, I ain't really tripping on it. I got paid. And talked to Universal, according to him in this lawsuit, that they said they would, correct it and they would hook him up with some more, acting jobs, throw some jobs his way. Faison's lawsuit alleges neither of those things happened.
Yeah, because he hasn't really been out there at all lately. We haven't seen him in anything.
But I mean, just, we talk about representation all the time, right? I mean, and this is, you bring it on home a little closer. Joe Biden right now is getting heat from none other than the kingmaker himself, James Clyburn, who is saying that he's a little uneasy about how slowly his cabinet is becoming, diversifying. Now, people are making a lot of news. I mean, taking a big issue, and they should. Well, not an issue, but celebrating the fact that Joe Biden's communications team is all women. There's some black women who are in some of those key seats.
Where's your girl?
Simone?
Yeah, she's not in there, man.
She's listed in this latest one I saw with the story that showed the five women that were in there. But I mean, when you think about like the cabinet level, right? So there are no black men at all. I don't know any. Well, Cedric Richmond has been named as an advisor. Yeah, senior advisor. But in the sense of like a cabinet choice or something else high profile, I'm not seeing like any black male names lifted up for anything. Linda Thomas Greenfield has been lifted up as the ambassador to the United Nations, which is extremely significant. But now we're talking about these top picks. And, I mean, look, all things being equal, Joe Biden wouldn't be president without the black vote. And so there's already starting to be some pushback. So, I mean, what we're witnessing is that from Hollywood and something as insignificant and petty as a poster in a film to something as significant as, who gets to help lead and shape this country, that we continue to struggle even with quote unquote our friends.
Yeah. Yeah. It's actually interesting. Okay, so Simone Sanders is actually going to be the chief spokesperson, press secretary for Kamala Harris. So I would have think she was the press secretary for the campaign. I would have thought she would have been in place there. I think here's the challenge that we have. I was actually thinking about this the other day as I was looking at some of these picks. And when I was looking at the foreign policy picks, right, the only black woman in that space is Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, who used to be Deputy Secretary of State for African Affairs. I know her, and a great lady, and she's actually preached at my church. So I deeply appreciate her. But when I looked at that, there was a Hispanic man, a couple women that were in there, but that whole team was primarily white.
Hmm.
And I'm like, okay, yeah, so where is this? I keep looking for this. The economic advisor is great. You appointed a woman to lead the Secretary of the Treasury. That's great. Not really seeing a lot of folk in this particular circumstance that are in black folk, the black women in particular, that are in significant front-facing roles in the administration. You've appointed a woman to lead. I'm sorry, I'm getting ready to forget the department, but I'm just like I'm still waiting to see this. I'm waiting to see black folk delivered, right? It was just what you said, and like why we should have seen like a quarter of the roles going to black folk, at the end of the day. Now, granted, there are thousands of appointed positions that will come, but when you look at the cabinet level seats, that's really where you're looking to see the diversity. And I see male-female diversity. What I do not see is deep black folk that are in those positions already.
Well,
And
that's it.
key role. I mean, the UN ambassador is a very important role, and I appreciate that. But that is not that's not the most powerful role in that group. Secretary of State is in that role,
Right.
and I mean, so I just have some things about that.
So, hey, Secretary of Treasury. I mean, to think that there aren't. I mean, there are like some tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, tremendous. African American minds around issues of finance and economy. I mean, you just have. There are a lot of
Secretary of
Secretary.
Homeland Security. Those would all be great.
Yeah, so there are a lot of like opportunities for Biden to make a difference here, and we haven't seen it completely yet. We haven't seen the whole thing lay out, so we're being patient. But at the same time, I think that it's fair to at least begin to say right now that we're feeling a little bit nervous now. I mean, you gotta, you laid out like more than 10 people, and after you laid out more than 10 people, you haven't seen like one African American male and not one African American woman in a cabinet. I mean, I guess I don't know if the ambassador to the UN.
Well, it wasn't, and they just he's reinstating it to a cabinet level position.
Okay.
But it doesn't have the same level as a department that's got trillions of dollars that you're managing the money over.
Right, gotcha. Well, now this is all depending upon whether or not Trump even gets out the White House, because the most recent news is that he said over the long weekend that he will leave. Yes, I will leave.
Yes.
Provided,
yes, this is the provided
that Joe Biden can prove to me, to my satisfaction, that his quote unquote 80 million votes actually really happened.
Yeah, this guy's totally delusional. Totally delusional. What's actually amazing to me. So this last week, so he lost the Supreme Court challenge this weekend in Pennsylvania to there were a group of people that were a part of this that were attempting to throw out 2 million absentee ballots that came in, vote by mail ballots that came in, and eventually a judge was like, "Look, you could have raised this issue 2 years ago when this law went into effect, right? The same people that were suing, some of them were candidates for office this cycle around. He's like, some of you won your elections by virtue in the primary because of mail-in ballots. And now, because your main candidate has lost the case, you want to disavow? He's like, you don't even have a leg to stand on in this case. This is absolutely ridiculous." In another case that Trump was pressing in federal court, one of his appointees basically said to him, "It's the people that choose who gets elected, not the judges, not the courts. The courts don't make those decisions." So there's been a lot of pushback, even by some of his own folk, to say, "Look, this is getting ridiculous, and you need to stop and let this go." But he just can't let this go. He can't admit defeat. We have had a mentally unstable president for the last 4 years. This is a failure of democracy, in my opinion. It is a deep failure of democracy.
In what way?
Because how did we let him stay in office this long? This is insanity.
Well, but democracy is working.
It is a failure of democracy. No, it is.
No. See, no. This is democracy at work, because People wanted him out, and the only way to do